Hi there, I care and you matter. I'm Shannon and welcome back to my channel. And today is going to be a casual conversation, a let's chat. And I'm going to give you an update about how my last week has been. Today is Sunday, September 15th, and I hope that you had a great week. I had a lot of ups and downs. I guess that's per usual lately. Let's start with the downs so we can end on a good note, shall we? Well, first of all, my attempt at making sourdough starter, my husband named it Sour Joe, which I thought was super cute. I've learned by watching lots of videos and reading lots of articles that in the sourdough community, there's a tradition of naming your starter. And so I thought, oh, that's fun. So my husband came up with Sour Joe. Sour Joe 1.0 was looking great until day 4. And day 4, there was nary a bubble in that starter. And I thought, this is weird. And I thought about I should just keep going. I thought, I'm going to start over. Maybe I did something wrong. I started over with a brand new starter, starting on day 1, trying to grow up myself. And long story short, I realized that it's cold in my house. We have single pane windows. And, well, we're just used to colder climate up here, and so we don't it's not very warm. I think our house is 65, maybe. And that, honestly, that's where we like it. But sadly to say, starter does not like it. So I am working on Sour Joe 2.0. And I've decided it's not looking great. I'm on day 3 of this one. And while it's not looking great, there are some bubbles, and I've decided that I'm just going to try and keep going, trying to discard some and then feeding it and watering it again. And I did dechlorinate the water. I've tried all the things. I'm disappointed because I was hoping to be making fresh sourdough bread by this weekend. And like I said, it's Sunday and that hasn't happened. But you know what? Try and fail again. And maybe I'll get there. It's fun because at least it's a common interest that everyone in the family is pretty excited about. So, in fact, my older son Nate keeps asking, Mom, when are you going to make the sourdough? And I'm like, not soon enough. So that's been a little disappointing. The other thing that has been stressful for me this week has been Mark. Boy, that kid cannot tell you the difference between a plus and a minus sign. And just yesterday I asked him how many ones are in a $5 bill. How many $1 bills would be equal to a $5 bill? Couldn't tell me. But that mouth on that boy, the attitude that kid flips me is just aggravating. And my husband and I disagree on this a lot. And I didn't mean to get into this, but I'm going to share a little bit. My husband chalks it up to his disability. He's got a lot of them. He's got low IQ, processing disorder, communication disorder, yada, 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 impulsivity, ADD. Yeah, I'm not so sure that this is all disability. Because the kid has also been incredibly manipulative in the past and sneaky, shall we say. And without getting into the specifics of that, I disagree with my husband. I think that some of this is bona fide attitude. This is young adult trying to push his boundaries. And long story short, this past week, he's told me several times that he's 18, which he is, and he doesn't have to listen to me. Well, needless to say, that little guy, because I say little because he is, short and he's still my kid. I said, if you're going to choose to live in this house, you're going to listen to me because those are the house rules. And if you live here, they're going to be rules. And if you don't want to follow my rules, then I'll help you pack a bag and you can go live somewhere else. You got money for that? You got money for rent? And he just stood there and I not like how you're talking to me. I said, I don't like the lies. I don't like the attitude. I don't like your choices. And frankly, I don't want someone living here who's going to talk to me like this, who's going to lie to me. So there's been a lot of friction between Mark and I this week. And, and then the social worker. Oh, Lord help me. The social worker emailed me and said, and I presume that you and Jason are still not pursuing guardianship. And I'm thinking, yeah, you're darn right. You're not presuming. That is correct. We have told you that time and time and time again. And then he emails me back. I mean, I wasn't snarky about it or anything. I just emailed back and said, that's correct. At most, we will be entering into a supported decision-making agreement with Mark, which is legally binding in the state of Washington. Mark would have to sign it. We would have to sign it, and it has to be witnessed by a notary in order to actually be legally binding. And all a supported decision-making agreement is, it's Mark giving us permission not to make decisions for him, but to help inform him so that he's better able of making decisions on his own. And it would give other people, such as doctors and teachers and employers, the legal ability to share information with us so that we could help Mark make better decisions that would otherwise be protected by Privacy Act laws. So that's what that is. But we are not going down the road of guardianship, because a guardianship is very, very difficult to break. Once you are in it, you are in it. You might as well be in it till you die or the person you have guardianship over passes. And it also makes it so whoever is the guardian is legally on the line for anything the child or the person does. And that's the biggest concern for us, because while I don't think Mark would ever intentionally do something horrible or, break a law knowingly, he has, unfortunately, his impulsivity. It's entirely possible for him to break a law or do something horrible without intent, and we would be financially and legally on the hook for that. And that's not me trying to, shriek from my responsibilities. I have been incredibly open with his impulsivity issues and my concerns about that with the school district as he grew up, as well as the state of Washington and all of his doctors. So it is well recorded everywhere. So suffice to say, that's why we're not taking guardianship. Well, the social worker emails me back and says, well, I need to let you know that I will be having to talk to Mark directly then, and Mark will be having to sign all his paperwork. And I'm thinking, great. I am all too happy to let him experience what being an adult is like, because in his mind, he is there. So, I'm thinking, yeah, let's put a little fear of God into him, and maybe it will create a little more gratitude for the amount of effort and work that I put out on his behalf and have done over the many, many years. Yeah, so that's been a lot, and that has led me into a psoriatic flare, so that's been great. Needless to say, Thursday and Friday last week, I was really blue. I was really down, really depressed, and so I am bound and determined to start this week on a high note. So let's get there. Despite the flare, I have managed to go for 3 pretty good walks this past weekend, and I didn't even let the weather stop me. It's been not stormy, but gray, and it's been rainy. And over the course of the summer, we had really high heat, and I ended up buying a sun hat that it's water repellent, so it's also a rain hat. And I'm like, oh, this is perfect for me. So I'm out there in the rain wearing my little rain hat. So that's been good. I've been trying hard to strike a balance between taking it easy so I can hopefully recover from this flare and get over it faster without added medication. I'm still taking my maintenance meds, but when things get really bad, sometimes my doctor will put me on, or I can call up and request a short dose of extra steroids. I do take prednisone, 7 milligrams per day. I've asked about going off those entirely, and she said at this point, for the length of time I've been on them, it would just be far too painful. I've tried weaning myself off of it. Yeah, it's just not possible. So if I can get myself through a flare without additional steroid use, then obviously that's a good thing. I want to try and do that. And again, this is all prescription. This is not steroids in the in the athlete sense. I don't want to cause any confusion there. So I'm not feeling great today, but I'm hoping to go to bed early, and I'm hoping to get a lot of stuff done on my projects today, because this coming week I have a ton of work meetings. And it's been great in the sense that I've been given. So now let's get to the good things, the positive things. I've been given some new responsibilities at work, which at first, I'm not going to lie, was a little bit like, oh, can I really do this? But I'm starting to settle into it and find my way. So that feels good. It always feels good to be successful at something new. And I'm hoping that that's the case with my book, because a little update on that. I redesigned the interior a little bit based on some suggestions I received from friends and my husband and my son, Nate. And I also completely redesigned the front cover. And my project this week, I've been slowly buying supplies. I am going to create what I'm calling, I don't know if this is really what it's called, a sound box. Because I am going to be reading the book and creating an audio book myself, my own voice. And I feel very strongly about that because I'm not anti-AI and I'm absolutely not anti-technology. However, I am very, very much so in the camp of creativity is a human endeavor, and I want to be really protective of that. I know a lot of self-published independent publishers choose to use AI to create audiobooks for themselves, and you do you. I'm not going to judge, no judgment. But for me personally, I don't know. I think it would be neat for kids to know that the voice they're hearing read the book is actually the author, the one who came up with the story herself. And so that's what I'm doing. But I have to do it in my little closet here. And, well, I don't think hopefully the sound isn't too bad for YouTube videos. I want to make sure that the quality of the audiobook that I record is as high quality as I possibly can get it. And so there's a Habitat for Humanity store just like 10-15 minutes down the road from me. In fact, if you watch my other video about how I created a library, I think it was last week's video. I got the furniture there. I got 2 chairs for $9 each and a little table for, it was 12 or $14. Well, last time I was there, when I got the library furniture, I saw these acoustical tiles. It was a whole pack, brand new, still shrink wrapped, for $6. And I'm thinking, oh, I could do something with that. I could make me a sound box. And so I didn't buy them. I told Jason I need to go to Habitat for Humanity again this week because I want to get some of those now that I know what I'm going to do with them. And I have an idea, and I don't want to share that because that might be another video. But I'm going to construct me a sound box that can be deconstructed for when I don't want to use it. I don't want to have it out. It has to be something that can be tucked and stored away and only pulled out when I need it. And so I have some ideas. But I think that would be great. It would be a 5-sided cube. So the one side would be completely open. I would put the microphone inside, and then I would actually read the book into the box so that the acoustical tiles would absorb all of the extra sound waves so that there's far less echoing and a more stable sound quality, for lack of a better word. I am not I'm not an expert at this. This will be the first time I've ever done it, but I'm looking forward to another craft. I love hacking things together. I love hacking things happen. And so I'm looking forward to that this week. I have a lot of meetings, which is why I'm recording this casual conversation now rather than Monday when I traditionally would. But so I get the printed proof of the redesigned book by Tuesday. I got an email from Amazon that it shipped. And so now my decision is, I could release it on Amazon by Friday, by the end of the week, if this new proof, looks the way I want it to look, if there's no errors. Or do I hold on to it until the second book is done so that I could release 2 books at one time? I don't know. And I still don't know if I'm going to go deep with Amazon or if I'm going to go wide and go with a publishing aggregator. But those are all questions that I'll cover in some of my writing videos. But those are the thoughts and things running through my mind. In terms of Jason, we almost had an argument this week. Oh, that was fun. He has a laptop and a big rig. And a rig is nothing more than a big souped up computer that renders animations. Jason's an animator. And as you know, his last day of work was September 3rd. It was a Tuesday. And so he's been gone for, 2 weeks now? Almost 2 weeks. And so they wanted his laptop back, and they sent the box to get the laptop, and that was fine. He sent that back in. And then they wanted his rig. And I had been... Now, when I say rig, it's nothing more than a tower computer, a desktop computer, not a monitor, just the actual computer. But like I said, it has 2 graphics cards, a big, real powerful CPU. It's large because it has to have a huge fan, because rendering, animations, things can get really hot. So, long story short, I told Jason, you need to ask if you can buy that computer. One, it's going to be a horrible hassle for them to get a laptop was easy. It's just a little FedEx box. That was fine. But this rig is, I'd guess 30 pounds. I'm not real good at estimating weight, but it's a big computer. So we're talking about a massive box, a lot of shipping, getting that prepaid box to us, and then we would have to deal with it. And so I told Jason, you should just ask them. Just ask them outright. How much would it cost to buy this rig? Jason didn't want to. And he said, I don't think now is the time to be spending money. Now, he's right. Now is not the time to be spending money. However, that rig, that computer, might very well be the difference between him being able to take a job from home right away, even if it's a contract job, because he would have the equipment to do the work, rather than what if he got a job and said, oh, but I've got to get myself hooked up with the equipment in order to do the work. To me, it was a necessity. It wasn't a frivolous purchase. And we talked about it for a few days. He felt very strongly. I felt very strongly. Nate overheard. Nate agreed with me. He thought it was important that Dad keep the computer at all costs. And I told Jason, look, what does it cost you to ask? You could just ask. Just asking doesn't obligate you to do it. If it's some outrageous price, don't do it. I said, if you do, ask for a receipt and we'll write it off on my business. Jason is on the business license, and he might very well have to go contract to contract. And if he does, he's going to be using my tax ID number, our tax ID number. As a sole proprietor, a married couple can both work under the single license. And so we could deduct the cost of that computer. Long story short, they came back and they said they wanted $1,500 for it. And at first blush, that's a lot of money. But Jason did some research and found that the processor alone in the rig is still going for $1,000 on Amazon right now, even though it's 3-4 years old. So long story short, it was a good deal. The rig costs about $6,000 to build. I mean, we're talking, this is a professional rig. And so long story short, he bought the computer. So I don't want to say I felt like that was a win, because it didn't feel like a win. I wish that he felt better about that choice. What was a win was that I have allocated a weekly grocery budget of $150. And this week I only had to spend $60. So I'm very excited about that because, that is less than half of what this week I had allocated, which is good because that means that's a little extra money for other stuff that may come up. So that is my update on what's been going on this past week. And I hope you've had a great week, and I hope you have a wonderful week to come. And hey, keep your fingers crossed for me on the starter, because Sour Joe 2.0 better take off. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.